Hello and welcome to a new episode of Adobe Creative Cloud TV. My name is Terry White, and in this episode we're going to take a look at the brand new Adobe Experience Design CC. That's right, Adobe XD for short. Now, many have asked me on social media, hey, are you going to do a video on XD? Where's a good video I can watch on XD? What is XD? So today we're going to answer those questions, and I'm having fun actually with the application. And I just want to let you know that this is currently, as of the recording of this video, this is a preview, a public preview. So that means it's like a public beta. It's not a released application yet, but you can download it and you can begin using it and begin making projects with it. Now, what is XD? What is Adobe Experience Design CC? If you are the kind of person that needs to design or prototype websites, mobile apps, or anything else with interactivity, then that's what Adobe Experience Design is geared for or created for. So people that are traditionally maybe using Illustrator, Photoshop, or even third-party apps to create these designs, and then they have to show it to a client and say, imagine if you will, if you click this button, it takes you to this page. Well, we're building an application that actually lets you not only design it, but actually put that interaction in. So they don't have to imagine if they click this button, it goes to this page. They can actually click the button and go to that page. Now, with that said, this is not a coding application. It's not a app builder. It's not a web builder. It doesn't write HTML. It doesn't write any code at all. It just basically allows you to create your designs, very similar to what you would do in Illustrator or Photoshop, and then let you prototype or send your designs as a working model to your client. And we're going to talk about the various ways to do that. So that's what Experience Design is, or Adobe XD is. Now let's jump in and take a look at how it works. So first and foremost, when you launch the application, it's Mac only at this point, but when you launch it, you get to this one window. And this one window asks you, hey, do you want to start a design? You can start it with a mobile phone. It starts with defaults to an iPhone 6, but you can switch it to a different iPhone or Android device. Same thing with an iPad or Android tablet. Same thing with web. So various web default sizes and Surface Pro, Surface Pro 3 and 4, as well as you put in a custom size. You type in whatever you want. Now, that's great to get your first artboard on the page, but then if you want to bring in elements, because part of the drudgery of design is having to bring in all those or create all those elements from scratch that would be typically built inside the OS, and you wouldn't be designing anyway. So now you can just use one of the built-in UI kits. So if I'm designing something that would look good on or be for an iOS device, I can go ahead and click on iOS, and it brings up an iOS project with all of these elements that I can just click on and copy and paste into my own designs. So we've done all that work for you. We've designed all these icons, all these vectors. This is all ready to go for you to use in your own design. So that's one. That was for iOS, of course. We give Google some love as well. So you have all your Google elements that you can copy and paste into your designs. These are all just free-form elements you can copy and paste into whatever pages you need them in. And of course, there's also one for Microsoft Windows. Now, if you are just getting started and you say, hey, I don't want to start with a blank page, I kind of want to see one first, there's a tutorial built in, and it gets started with this sample file. So this is all built in. It walks you through step by step what to do. This tutorial is built right into the application. So that's the cool part. Now let's go ahead, and I'm not gonna start from scratch because it would take too long in the video, especially for me to design and draw every single thing from scratch. So I'm going to start with a design that's pretty far along, but I still have some work to do. Now this one is for a website. It has a mobile area here. These are all the mobile phone artboards. Then we've got the tablet artboard, and we've got a web artboard. And it's great that you can do this all in the same project. You don't have to make one for phone, one for tablet, one for web. You can use, copy and paste the same elements that you need on each one. Now I'm going to hold down my Option key. I'm just going to go ahead and use my scroll wheel on my Magic Mouse here, or scroll button on my scroll surface on my trackpad or Magic Mouse to zoom in. And I'm just going to go ahead and hold down my space bar to kind of pan over. We're going to concentrate on these first 3 artboards for the design. Now, the first thing I need is actually something that's not quite finished in Photoshop. I need to pull over an image here for this welcome screen. As you can see, there's not much on the welcome screen at this point. So I'm going to just toggle over to Adobe Photoshop. And in Photoshop, I've got this multi-layer design, this mosaic pattern, and I kind of need it all to be one thing so I can just copy and paste it. I don't want to bring over all that stuff. So I'm going to use an old-fashioned keyboard shortcut in Photoshop, Command-Option-Shift-E, and that will take all the layers below and make a new composite layer. So this new layer is everything on one, layer 1. So now I can Command-A to select all, Command-C to copy, and then we'll switch back to XD, and I'm on this artboard. I'm just going to go ahead and paste. Now, of course, it came in at its original size. I need to say, oh no, I need to size this down. So let me zoom out a little bit. Very fluid, fast zooming. And I'm just going to go ahead and scale. I don't have to hold down the Shift key. It's smart enough now to, it's 21st century application. It kind of knows you might want to do it proportionally. And while I can size this manually, I can also go in and type in the exact size that I need. So if I make that 375 pixels wide, that should fit this artboard perfectly, and it does. All right, so now, again, I'll zoom in. And I now want to go up to my Object menu, Arrange, Send to Back. And of course, all of these have keyboard shortcuts. You don't have to use the menus because, again, this app was designed for speed. So I'll send it to the back. That'll put it behind my other elements that are already on the page. There's a search bar here, and there's a button that we're going to add an icon to it as well. But before we get to that icon, I don't want to accidentally move this object. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Object and lock it in place. Now I can unlock it by clicking the lock icon at any time, or yeah, I can unlock it by clicking because the menu doesn't know which item you're referring to because it's locked. But just click the unlock icon and I can unlock it. Now, you also have drawing tools here because you don't have to do everything in other applications. You can do some drawing right here in XD. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag out a rectangle. And of course, I can resize and put that rectangle exactly where I need it, in this case, a square. And you can see it's even got the same handles that we have in Illustrator for the live corners to reshape that. But I'm going to keep it as a rectangle for now, or square for now, and then I'm going to switch over to the operating system. I'm going to go to the Finder in this case. I've got a folder here of all my XD stuff that I want, and there's a pizza image, a ping file. Now you might be asking, well, what kind of files can I bring into XD? Think of anything that currently works on the web for the most part as far as image formats. So ping and GIF and things like that will work just fine. So I'll go ahead and drag that in. If I drag it right into that square, not only does it bring it in, but it brings it in and it knows that it masks it to that square. So it's a mask, and that's why I dropped it in the square to begin with, as opposed to just dropping the image in. So that way it masks the item to the exact shape that I need. Now, of course, that works great for images, but it also works for other file types, such as SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics. So if you want something to be vector, this application supports vector art as well. What's cool about this is you get Smart Guide, so I can keep this perfectly aligned to the center. And if I double click, I can actually get to the individual elements for this. So if I want to change the color of this to a different color, I can. Actually, I changed the border. Hang on. Oopsie. Did that by mistake. Let's go to the fill. And there we go. Change the fill. So I can change the fill, stroke, or whatever I need to on that particular item. Now, it's not just limited to graphics. You can, of course, type in text. So if I grab my type tool, I can, again, align my type right in the center there. Just click. And now I can say, actually, we want to center this. Let's go ahead and center it. And I can say, ordering out is the new dining in. All right, so, and of course I can rearrange this a little bit. Let's put the on top. Let's put the new dining in on the next line. I can change the font, change the aspects of this. It's Helvetica New, 20 regular. Of course, I can also change the fill color for it. So if I wanted that to be a different color, I can. And I can, of course, just work with this as type. So anytime I need to make changes to this, I can make changes to this. So if I want that to be ordering out or ordering in, actually, you know what? I did that wrong. Let's do ordering in is the new dining out. That's what it should be. And luckily I did that before my client caught it. Oh no, I'd have to make another change. And of course you can, type is one of those things you just keep going. So if I want to keep correcting this, I can, or keep making changes to this, I can. And I can just click the type tool and add more type anywhere that I need it. Now, we also have drawing tools. So for example, if I grab let's deselect the type first. There we go. Grab the drawing tool, rectangle. I can go ahead and drag out a rectangle across my bottom portion here. Now, I'm just basically kind of replicating or showing how this icon bar was created. I could just copy and paste that icon bar. I don't have to draw a new one. But just to show you how it's done, we can, of course, pull the corners in, just like I said before, and that will round the corners. And if I hold down, I believe, my Option key, I can unround or only control one corner at a time. So that's why you have the 4 dots there. Now, of course, I want it to also mimic the color. So we'll do the fill, and we'll just grab the eyedropper here, and we'll just sample that same gray. But I also don't want a border, so I'll just simply hide the border. So now it has no stroke. And that's very similar to the one that was already there. Now, of course, I can copy those icons, but once again, if I want to just show that I can drag and drop SVG right in, I can drag and drop SVG right in, and it comes in very quickly. I get all these smart guys to help me kind of keep everything lined up just right. All right, so, but again, as I showed before, your SVG or vector graphics are very, very vector indeed. So I can hold down my Shift key, Command key to click on an individual piece of that grouped graphic, and Shift Command to select both pieces of it. So now if I want to change the fill just to make maybe that the active icon, I can. So very similar, but very fast in design from a standpoint of just making things happen very quickly. And sometimes you just don't have this level of speed in the larger applications. So that's another reason why XD was designed, as opposed to just making these features in part of Illustrator or Photoshop. Make a brand new quick application, very fast application. Okay, so we kind of built this page out. One more thing to go. So I've been dragging and dropping things from the operating system, but you can also get things from Illustrator directly. So for example, I can select this mic icon, copy it, paste it right into XD, deselect first, that way it doesn't try and make it a part of what is already there. And there we go. There's my mic icon. I want to drag and drop it there, and we're going to go ahead and just scale it up a little bit. Now in that case, I did hold down the Shift key. And also if I want to go ahead and change the fill of that, we love fill, I can, but we would want to make it, how about white? All right, so now we've got our nice mic icon for voice search, and we've got this page pretty well built. Now let's head over to our results page. This is where, again, we're building that experience that if they typed in seafood and hit search, it would bring them to this page where they would see the restaurants, so forth and so on. So just again to reemphasize that we can draw right here in XD, I'm going to go ahead, first of all, let's make sure we deselect the mic. I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle. So I'll hold down my Shift key, get a perfect circle there. I want another circle to be right in the middle of it. So again, Option Shift, just like I would in Illustrator, we're going to make a new search icon here. And now that I've got both of those circles together, I'm just going to go ahead and select them both. And I even have Pathfinder type operations here. So I can say subtract, cut out the circle in the middle so that now that's a hole, we can see through it. The next thing we'll do is we'll go to our object menu, we'll come down to path, and we're going to say convert to path, make this a vector path. So we double click on it, and now I get my pen, my points, my handles, my curves, all the stuff you're used to. And if I double click again, I can now convert that to no curves. So that's now a corner path, and I can just pull that down and kind of make my search icon look the way I want it to look. Now at this point, I can also change the fill, change the border. So we'll make it purple, just because we haven't used purple yet. All right, so now we'll go ahead and just select that. We can, of course, pick it up. I think it's a little large for a mobile design, so we'll make that a little smaller. And we're just kind of mimicking where the restaurant is. And I'm very bad on the map because it's 22nd 45th Ave. So let's say 22nd 45th Ave is right there. All right, so now we're mimicking what that would look like. So up to this point, you're probably saying, well, Terry, everything you've just shown me, I could have already been doing that in Illustrator. Maybe not as fast, but certainly in Illustrator with artboards. And you're right. This is where the distinction is going to happen between doing stuff that you've been doing in Illustrator or Photoshop and doing it in XD. It happens right now. Obviously, we would have our map and restaurant here, but we would also want other locations. Now, if you wanted more of these in Illustrator or Photoshop, you would just duplicate them. Option drag, copy paste, whatever. But in XD, this is where it really starts to shine, because I can go over, I can select that one set of objects here, and there's a button that I love in XD, and it's called Repeat Grid. When I choose Repeat Grid for an object, it gives me handles, both vertical and horizontal handles on this. So now I can just pull this down and get as many more of these as I need. And that's where, again, the speed happens. Now, again, it's not just, by the way, I can click between the spaces and say, well, maybe I want more results. Let's tighten up the space there. And then I can pull down more results. And then I kind of want to even that out, maybe pull that down just a little bit more and get it just right. Again, way faster. But it's not just duplicating those objects. I can go in, and these are still individual. I mean, it's not just mirroring those objects. These are separate objects now, still part of the repeat grid, but I can go ahead and start changing the names of these. So I can say, maybe this is a street called Fairburn, San Francisco, and maybe this one is, this one's going to be, you get the idea, Times Square. So you're trying to make your examples look a little bit more real. So instead of them just all saying the same thing, you'd want your client to say, hey, oh yeah, that's the way the results would look. And he's even put in the results of where my actual restaurants are. So we could say Midtown, Atlanta, Georgia, and let's see what else. Where else would be a good place? How about Main Street? We always use Main Street. We can't think of anything. Main Street, Miami, Florida. All right. And of course, I would also, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do it, but I would also go and change all of these so they don't say exactly the same 45 places. So maybe this one be 23 places, so forth and so on. But you get the idea. Now, if I needed this, just to show you, if I needed this to go this way with it, I can. And look at what it's doing. It's also mimicking it both ways. All right, so that's cool. That's awesome. That gets me what I need. But now let's go here to the, they drill down from the actual location. Now they want to see menus and prices. So we've got the picture, we've got the text, we've got the star rating, and we've got the price. I've now selected all of those by holding down my shift key. And I can do the same repeat grid here. So I can pull these down, and oh my God, that's so cool that it can do that. All right, so I pull those down. Looks like I'm only going to get 3 results, so I can go ahead and again space that out a little bit better, so it just looks a little bit better on the page. And of course, we don't want all 3 to be the same. Now we know we can change the text. We've already done that over here. But what about the images? What happens if you drag and drop a different image in? So let's go to our menu items here, and let's say we drag in shrimp instead. Actually, we have shrimp already. Let's drag in lobster instead. And when drag in lobster, well, it changes all of them. And you're saying, well, obviously I need my results to be different. So do I have to do something weird? No. What you can do is actually drag in as many images as you want. And it's smart enough to know if I take all 5 of these to replicate all 5 down. So now it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many times as I replicate this. And if I want to change an individual one, now that it knows they can be different, so for example, I do like the lobster option, so I want the lobster option to be number 3. I can drag number 3, I can replace number 3 with number 4. And of course, then I can go in and change these items to what they should be. And I think lobster is going to be a little bit more expensive than $12. So why don't we make that $52? And of course, I believe this is the salmon. Hang on, there we go. All right, and we'll make the salmon 22. All right, everything ends with a 2 because I didn't change it. All right, of course, we can duplicate the star ratings as much as we want as well. And I'm just holding down my Option key and duplicating the stars. And we want to make the star ratings for that. Like, this is going to be killer. This is going to be like 5 stars. All right, and the smart guides help me keep everything arranged. Okay, so far, great. We got our design in place. Everything else is wired up and ready to go. And now I want to, we'll zoom out a little bit, hold down my space bar and pan over a little bit. And we've got our three artboards mocked up just that quickly. But here's what I want to do now. I want to actually make this interactive. So far, we've just, we sped up the design that you would have done in Illustrator or Photoshop. We gave you a repeat grid, which made things a lot faster, easier. But so far, it's still just a flat design. So now let's change it from, or switch modes from design to prototype. So if I switch over to prototype, now I'm actually building the interactivity. So for example, when the person clicks the search results button, what does it do? Well, I want it to go to this page. So I can, once I let go and drag and drop onto that artboard, it then even lets me change how it's going to segue over, slide left, slide right, up, down, dissolve, so forth and so on. So I'm just going to leave it on its default. And now I actually want to see it work. So there's a play button or preview button in the upper right hand corner here. I'm just going to go ahead and click preview, and that'll bring up my little interactive design. So I can go ahead and click that I want it to go over to that page. Awesome. Now when you go to this page, there's a back button I noticed, and I want that back button to be functional. So let me just move this over, go to the back button. Because I'm in the prototyping mode, I can now drag the little whip, as I would refer to it, back over to this page, and this would slide right. Now I don't have to refresh my preview or anything. It's already working. It's already live, so I can go back and forth between these. Now this is cool, but this is me looking at it on my computer. What if I wanted to actually record a movie of the interactivity and pass that movie around? You notice there's a record button right on top of the preview window. So I can go ahead and just click record, and it'll even give me a little overlay for where the touches would be happening. So the minute I click record, I get a little overlay, and I can go ahead and say that, hey, they would click here, and then they would see their results, or they could go back, and then if they did click the results, they could actually go forward, because that one was already pre-wired, so forth and so on, or back. And then I can stop the recording. Once I stop the recording, that would then give me the ability to save this movie anywhere I want as a QuickTime movie, and I could post it to YouTube, post it to Vimeo, share it on Facebook, whatever I wanted to do, send it directly to my client, and I would have a working movie of my interactivity. That's pretty awesome, but it doesn't stop there. Not only can you record a movie, you can also go up to the upper right hand corner next to the preview button, and there's a share online. This is where it really becomes even better. When I hit share online, it also lets me give it an icon. So let's go do that. Let's go get an icon for it. We'll use the same pizza icon we used before. Drag and drop that in. Okay, so now when I say create link, And it asks me, tells me where it's going to start. I'm just going to go ahead and say create link, and it's now uploading and processing and making a web experience of all of your layouts, everything that's built in. You can copy that link and share it, or just go right to it. I'm going to go ahead and go right to it. It brought up my web browser, and it's taking me to the Adobe hosted version of my design. This does not take away from any of your Creative Cloud space that you have already. This is a bonus. So now I can send that link to my client, art director, prospective buyer, whoever, and they could actually experience their new site on the web, or their new app on the web, with this design. So if they click here, and they can go back, and then they say, oh, hey, wait a minute, what's this profile icon? Let's click there. Hey, oh, wait, hold on. You're missing a photo for Angela Baker. What's up with that? And I say, oh, yeah, you're right. But are you sure? Wait, let me go back and look. So I go and I scroll down, and sure enough, darn it, I forgot to put her picture in. So let's go ahead and go find the profile picture first. Let's see, I think it's in my profile image. There it is. I'll drag it in. And now that I've put it in, I'm going to go ahead and notice that, by the way, notice that it crops. Oops, hold on. Undo. There we go. Notice that it crops to the artboard itself. So when you deselect it, it's masked by the artboard. But anyway, let's go ahead and send this back one. Not all the way back, just backward. And now that'll let me see the circle that it's supposed to be in. So I'm going to go ahead and select them both. And then I'm going to go up to Object and say Mask with Shape. And that will let me mask that rectangle with the shape itself. I can still double click. I can still move it around. I can still size it. And I always have a problem sizing this one, but you should be able to size it. Hang on. All right. I think that's a bug in this particular asset. But anyway, you would be able to size it down, get it down just right, and put that where you want it to be. Oh, you know why? Because I'm still in prototype. Let's go to design. That's why I can't size it. Oh, user operator error. All right. So let's go ahead, go back to design. Then I can size it. Get that just right. Because it was too big. There we go. We get our design just right. We go back to prototype, and now all we have to do is go back to share and share again. It'll update the link. So once it updates the link, they just refresh, and they would see their thing that you said, oh, you're sure it's there? Just refresh it. I'm sure you'll see it now. After you've gone in and fixed it, of course. But I just went ahead and clicked the link. I can now go in, go back to that profile icon, and boom, there she is. All right, so with that said, I've got now 2 ways to let my client interact with the design that I'm doing for them, whether it's via a movie that I record the interactions and maybe walk them through it, or I give them a website that they can go to, a web link, and they can go walk through it all they want. And of course, you'd wire up all the icons for all the panels to go to everywhere they need to go. So what do you do now? Let's say they say, I love it, build it. So what do you get now? So at this point, if you are finished, you go up to your file menu, you choose export, and when you choose export, you get the options to export out for web, for iOS or Android, and it will make the appropriate selections based on the formats that work best for that. So I can export for the ping designed at 1x size, 2x size, so forth and so on for high DPI displays, and that will export all the artboards, all the assets, and you already have the experience design, so you can say, hey, here's the link, developer, go make it all look like this and work like this. This is what the client bought off on. And you've got all the elements that whoever's writing the code would actually have to build it. So with that said, this is Experience XD Preview, Adobe Experience Design CC. Go check it out at adobe.com/creative cloud or adobe.com/experience design. Might work. But go ahead and check it out one way or the other, and you will then be able to play around with it, create prototypes, and mock-up sites for your clients as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.